Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel, The Importance of Temperance. I'm Katie, and I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're doing super well. This is my Saturday night. It's a bit of a cozy evening for me. I've got my cup of green tea, and I felt like playing around with my tarot decks tonight. So I have fallen in love with this Ferenc Pinte Tarot deck once again. I grabbed it out the other day and I was looking through it and I thought, oh, this is a terrific deck. And then I decided to edge it in this orange, and it's made it look super, super sexy. I love it. As we can see, this is a tuck box here. I bought this off eBay. It is a fake. I was loving myself silly because I thought I got a bargain, but instead I got a dud. So yeah, no little white book. The tarot cards are the size of a poker deck. The cardstock is okay. It's a bit flimsy and stuff, but it's not too bad. The backs are not reversible. It says Carpe Diem. It's got his signature here. Live the moment or live in the day. And yeah, and since I've edged them, I think they're looking super sexy and I kind of like them even more. So Ferenc Pinte is an Italian or Italian-Hungarian illustrator and painter. He was born around 1931 and he passed in 2008. And around 1989, I think he was commissioned to paint the majors. The minors have been taken from his body of work. So it's a case of kind of them selecting the artwork for the meanings of the cards, not that the artwork is necessarily, been designed for the deck itself. Only the majors have. And we can see that because when we flick through, we can see the majors do correspond to the RWS traditional meanings as opposed to the minors. Some of them are a bit of a stretch. And as you can see the artwork on the box, this is the strength card, which a lot of people who have purchased the Lo Scarabeo deck will be familiar with, because this is the informative card that comes with every Lo Scarabeo deck. His artwork is abstract and surreal and in a lot of ways. It's very colorful yet dark. He has an interesting sense of humor that comes through, especially in the majors. He is obviously of that generation where, he comes out of the Second World War. He did go to Hungary with his family when he was younger. He was born in Italy, but then they moved to Hungary. He had to then escape from Hungary because of the Hungarian Revolution. So there's kind of all that sort of turmoil in his background. I think it does come through in some of his artwork. I also find it very interesting because there are classical elements, and artists, when they do go to art school and study, they do study the classics, so they do use the classics as a reference in a lot of their artwork. So that comes through. The archetypes as well come through. And this little this little cherry bag here is the little pouch I keep it in. Just put it in the tuck box, and the tuck box kind of lives in there. So this is our fool, and he's taking the piss. But what I really like is that he's on this little horse here, and this is one of those, it's not a real horse. See, it's like the stick horse, and he's just, being the actual fool. And I really like the colors as well of this card. Here is our magician, our typical magician, playing his tricks. Very colorful as well. In his hat, he's got the various instruments. And then there's this dude here that's overlooking him. He's going, wait, wait, wait. I love this high priestess. I absolutely love this high priestess. She's sitting on a throne of books. Isn't she beautiful? The Papess. The Empress. The Emperor. And then some of his artwork is kind of like out of focus and some is really crisp. And our Emperor here, instead of being fixed, he's actually in motion, very active. The Hierophant. I love this Hierophant too. The Lovers. The Chariot. The Chariot is a very interesting card. I don't know, this guy looks like he's going to execute somebody. See here, he's got his black hood on. And then you can see the horse's ass. And this big chariot here. So I don't know if that guy up here is meant to be someone who's going to get executed and something happened and the horse came away from the chariot. I don't know, but there's something weird going on there. And here we have our Strength card. There's something very kind of like heavy about this card. This artwork kind of reminds me a bit of the Art Deco. It's very kind of like stylized, I want to say. Yeah. This is our hermit in his cave. There's a little lantern down there. And then we've got an aeroplane flying over the top there. Now the wheel looks more like a rack. You know how they used to put people on the rack to torture them? And then you've got Death running away there with a wheel. Oh man. Yeah, this is very dark, this card. Very dark. Then we have our Justice. And you have these two people in the background playing tug of war. But she hasn't got a blindfold, this one. Usually they depict Justice with a blindfold. She hasn't got one. And this is super fun. Look at that. The Hangman. And the Hangman is a booger or snot hanging out of his nose. How classic's that? Death. This is a great card. And there's a treasure there. The Grim Reaper. Our Temperance. Very calmly pouring herself a jug of milk, and this guy's carrying on like a pork chop, and she's just totally ignoring him. The Devil. That's a classic Italian sign. Like when you do this, it's kind of like you're trying to discourage bad luck, or being jinxed, or having the evil eye put on you. So you do the sign of the horns. So to me, this is a very familiar sign. So classic for the Devil. Our Tower. The Star. The Sun. Kind of here, it's sort of the worship of the sun god, sun on his chariot. Judgment. And the World. It's a beautiful card for the World, isn't it? Aren't they great? There's such, I don't know, there's such depth to these cards. The artwork's interesting, the colours. Oh, the moon. Forgot to show the moon. The moon is mooning us. How cool is that? Yeah. I just love the colours in them too. Such fun. Very dark in a lot of respects as well. There's that kind of element of shadow, that's for sure. But at the same time, he uses colour in a very dramatic way. Oops. See how our Emperor is all red and then our Empress is all blue. With these, I'll just do a quick flip through of the minors and come back to you at the end. So, you know, the minors are a little bit more difficult to read, you know, especially with these sort of cards that depict real people in the court cards. I do kind of have a problem being able to read with them because I kind of look at this card and I think Abraham Lincoln, right? I can't sort of then get a read out of it because that's the image that's kind of in my mind. And then I just have to rely on the fact, oh yeah, this is the king of, you know, coins, da 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 da. This image is beautiful. I absolutely love this 9 of Pentacles. It's gorgeous. Again, here we go, Teddy Roosevelt. I mean, I don't know if that's him or not, but kind of what this reminds me of. This 6 of Cups, man, this doesn't give me a feel of nostalgia or, you know, friendship or wake up and smell the roses. This gives me bad vibes, this card. So I don't know what they were thinking when they decided on this artwork for the 6 of Cups. And 10 of Swords, that's pretty gory for a 10 of Swords. And this, wow, for an 8 of Swords. quite poignant, isn't it? And this, oh my goodness me, for a 5 of Swords. Yeah, so the sword suit is quite gory. And this one here, Andy Warhol, you know. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. And then this. It's got the head of Samson on the platter there. That's the 3 of Swords. So the sword suit in this deck is pretty gruesome, I should say. And even though I really love the artwork and a lot of the cards I'm okay with, there are those images in the court cards are a little bit harder to read for me. You know, just because you look at them and you go, look at her expression. What a mole. You know what I mean? And this is supposed to be the Queen of Clubs. She's not meant to be a mole, is she? And I don't mean to offend anybody by saying this, but I'm just saying I look at her expression and then that's what I see. Yeah, let's have a look here. Look at her for a Queen of Swords. That's the King of Swords. I don't have a problem with this so much because this is kind of more stylized. And but yeah, and then we go with the Queen here, Queen of Cups and King of Cups. They kind of don't give me the vibes. And then this Ace of Pentacles with a pyramid. Yeah, so there's obviously, you know, this is the 4 of Pentacles, safest houses. So some cards I can relate to perfectly well. But yeah, some I struggle with. And that's the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, and the ones that I struggle with majorly are the court cards with these personages on them. If I knew maybe who they were, and then I could associate them with the kind of meanings, you know, of the various suits, maybe that would help. But yeah, that's the risk you kind of run into when you get these decks with this artwork that is not actually made for tarot. It's the same thing with the Chicoli deck, for instance. You know, again, you kind of have to give it your own interpretation, and you refer to the booklet, you know, as Dawn Michelle does. Don't know if anybody of you know Dawn Michelle, but she just, you know, takes the deck, mods it, and then gives her own meaning to each card. But at the end of the day, I really like it. I love this orange edging. I think it makes it pop. I think it makes it look stylish. And yeah, I kind of look forward to doing a deep dive into this and working with a bit more. I don't have a booklet, so I haven't got any reference to go to see the meanings of those court cards, if they represent a personage, and so that kind of makes it a little bit more difficult. I'm not wanting to spend 50 Australian dollars to get myself the original just yet. I see how I go with it, just reading from it for now. So that is the Ferenc Pinte Tarot from Lo Scarabeo. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed having a look at this deck with me this evening. Until my next one, have a good one. Ciao, belli.